the morning wrap up. It's the morning wrap up. Ba, 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 ba. I just had to read. So let it be known, it's 9 a.m. and I'm already done with today. I'm already pissed off. I'm already in a foul mood. I just had to redo this morning wrap up because texts are pouring in from one of my fantasy football groups about whether we should remove negative points for fumbles, because that's something that needs to be settled starting at 7 a.m. this morning. It's bad enough I got to do sessions at that time, and then I'm interjecting like I'm at a goddamn commissioners meeting in the NFL. We don't get paid for this, guys. Every year I tell myself I'm not doing fantasy football anymore. I'm just not, because it ends up becoming like a part-time job, and here we are. At 7 a.m. I'm arguing with people over what rules we should apply. Oh, man. I should have picked a different old man hobby. Stamp collecting or something. Something where I don't have to interact with other people. I already do too much of that. Something where my weekend's not going to be ruined every fucking Sunday by sitting a player who ends up having a career day and starting a player that, will undoubtedly get injured in 5 minutes into the game. And then I have to watch someone on my bench go off for 1 billion points and yell, on my bench! Which is my calling card on NFL Sundays. Anyway, I promised you guys that, the Soda Pop says train sets. Yeah, that's true. Trains will never give me a heart attack, but fantasy football might. It damn sure has led to more consumption of alcohol, so I know my liver is not a fan. I promised you guys I would give you a review on Glitch. Glitch is the documentary on HBO about HQ trivia, if you remember it from like 5, 6 years ago, right? It was like 2017, I think, was when it was 2017, 2018. The trivia game on your phone, the app where, certain times a day, I think it was like 3 and 6 or 3 and 8, I can't remember. And that guy, that very unfunny guy, would come straight. No, not me. Why are you looking at me? Not me. The other unfunny guy that was constantly annoying you daily. He would come straight, to your, if you had the app, it would tell you we're going live. And then he would come tell a bunch of unfunny jokes, and then there'd be trivia. And the prizes, would be anywhere from $500,000. I think they did get up to $1 million at one point. The problem was that, if you did happen to win and answer all the questions correctly, there were generally like 100, 200 other winners. So oftentimes you're splitting like $8, $11, which you learn in the documentary you couldn't actually even cash in. The site had like a minimum amount. It was like $20, which I don't think anyone ever won more than like $10 on the trivia. So even if you happened to win, you couldn't cash out what you won. But it was a fun game for a while. It was interactive, and I mean, it swept across the nation. I remember New Year's Eve, they were doing it on the New Year's Eve show. There was a Super Bowl special one that they did during the Super Bowl, like during the commercial break. It was everywhere. There were videos of people like at baseball games, no surprise, and everyone's playing it on their phone rather than watching the game. It really was quite the phenomenon, but it was gone as quickly as it became big. And I don't know. I just always thought it was me. I thought I was one of the, few people that always, I'm done with this. I didn't realize that simultaneously the entire world basically was like, yeah, okay, we're over this. What happened was, and basically what the documentary lets you know, is that infighting and a bunch of stuff that was happening with the original owners, who were the guys who created Vine, there was infighting that just caused the app to basically stall and never you know, never really gained from its popularity, where most things, right, evolve as they get more popular. Nothing with this game ever changed, and it's because the two creators of it basically couldn't stand each other and were fighting for power, and in doing so, were basically doing so at the detriment of the app itself and of the progress of the app. And it just goes to, it's just another example of how in today's society, you don't have to be a great businessman to create a great product or create something that you know, the consumers will flock to. But in order to maintain, in order to maintain it and maintain the popularity, you do have to be. So that's why you see so many startup companies now, right? That Shark Tank's a great example of this. People get big off of like a product, and then everyone assumes that person is a great business person or a great this, a great that, and they're not. They were just really good at creating one thing. And then with everything else in life, they can be absolutely ignorant and dumb and just do everything else wrong. And that's essentially what this documentary shows you, was where these guys were great at creating, two things, which was Vine and HQ, and they were awful. They were awful in every other sense of business, to the point where me watching as a small business owner was like, these guys are dumbasses. So anyway, I don't want to give too much away, but it's definitely worth the watch. Also, I just started watching Twisted Metal on Peacock Network, which I assumed, right, Peacock, NBC, I assumed would be, it's based off the PlayStation game Twisted Metal, but I assume would be toned down because it's on NBC. But apparently Peacock can do whatever the fuck they want. Apparently it's not, it's not like if it was on NBC. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a more gory show in my life. It is gore galore. And there's plenty of cursing, and like 2 minutes in, they're like making a point to let you know, like, this isn't an NBC show. Anthony Mackie, who stars in it, is blowing people's brains out and dropping F-bombs, basically right from the start. So, entertaining show. I don't think it'll win an Emmy, but I'd give it a watch. Okay, one other thing I wanted to get to today, and if you saw the news this morning, Ronald Acuna, who plays for the Atlanta Braves, was basically run over in the outfield last night by two fans who jumped on the field apparently to try and take a selfie with him. So their goal was not to harm him, but to try and get a selfie with him on the field. But as security ran in, Acuna ended up as part of the casualties and actually ended up getting knocked over as they were tackling these guys who would run onto the field. It brings me to my point with sports especially. What are we doing with these security guards? Everything you see this season, from baseball games, from soccer games, and soccer, it's been happening a long time. They've been too lax with security. But baseball now, I remember going to Yankee games and seeing a 15-year-old girl try to run out to hug Derek Jeter, and then a security guard who looked like he could play middle linebacker for the Giants, Terry Tating her, which is, if you don't remember the Terry Tate commercials, just absolutely laying her out, rightfully so, because she ran onto the field. Nowadays, it seems like maybe it's because everyone sues and they're afraid of the visual, they're afraid of going viral for their security, maybe like really severely hurting someone. I don't know, but security seems now like they try and verbally usher you off the field. And everyone seems like security guards just seem like they're rent-a-cops. Like they're rejected mall security. These videos of guys acting like Deion Sanders, some drunk idiot from the bleachers, looks like Deion Sanders as he evades 10 security guards. What are we doing? You got to get some real guys. You got to get some real athletes for your security. This is why Lionel Messi doesn't trust. Lionel Messi has his own security guard who follows him everywhere, including the games. So if you run out on the field while Messi's playing, if you go to the next Red Bulls Miami game and try, it's probably not going to be Red Bull's arena security who tackles you. It's going to be Lionel Messi's personal bodyguard. And if you've seen pictures of him, you probably want no problems with him whatsoever. But that's what we got to get back to, just violently dealing with these people who run out. For one, it ruins the game. You get a delay. It totally F's up the flow of the game. And someone's going to get hurt. An athlete's going to get hurt. You don't know when a guy's running out, whether he's trying to take a selfie with an athlete or he's got a knife and he's trying to stab him. I mean, it happened 2 years ago in EPL, in English Premier League. It happened, if you guys are old enough to remember, tennis with, what's her name? I can't think of it. The young, whatever her name was. Not Chris Everett. It was the other one who was big at the time. Anyway, she got stabbed by a crazed fan. And the point to me is really, I don't care if you're running out there with a knife or a cell phone. I think either way you should be dealt with the same, which is the harshest, most violent conduct possible by security. For one, they've got to be athletic enough to be able to get out and get to these people immediately and not have it turn into a viral video where fans dancing around the field because 12 fat rent-a-cops can't catch them. You got to get athletes out there, and when they catch whoever this person is, not only should they lay them out, a la what Yankee security did last year, where they basically chokeslammed a guy to the ground, but while on the ground, let's have a public execution. Like, make my money. If I'm going to the ballpark, make it worth my while. I should go there and think maybe I get to see a public execution today. String them up. Or, what was the other one? The rack they used to do back in the medieval days? Keep a rack in the stadium, in Giant Stadium, Yankee Stadium, Philadelphia for sure. And like Mel Gibson style, or a beheading. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned beheading? I'm just saying we've got to make it more of a detriment. Clearly now in society, people care way more about going viral and about being able to take a selfie or a picture on a field than they do with whatever fines they're occurring. All right, it used to be that fines were enough to keep people off the field, but now people just care about going viral. So if they got to pay $5,000, $10,000 to do that, they don't care. So you got to make it a bigger detriment. And I think that the only way to go is clearly just a public execution. Give us loaves of bread when we come in the stadium. And then once security catches the guy, gladiator style, thumbs up, thumbs down. And if the crowd cheers, thumbs up. Which one was execution? No, thumbs down. And you do a public execute, and then it's dinner and a show. You get it's two shows for the price of one admission. With ballpark prices now, it's actually it should be happening anyway. Give us what we want. The Yankees aren't hitting this year? Well, give Aaron Judge free swings on the next guy who jumps onto the field. Tell him swing away on some guy's head that ran into the infield. People might think that's harsh, but you know what it's doing? It's potentially saving a future athlete's life. And if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that a professional athlete's life is worth more than a John Doe's. So if we got to get rid of a couple drunken Joe Schmoes, to save, future Aaron Judge or future Lionel Messi, then so be it. And again, just be fun. Why did we have to miss out? Almost every era had their public executions. Why don't we get any? In 2000, everything that's going on with the world, why don't we get that now? Just food for thought. This is SDS.